In the heart of a tranquil Amish community nestled amidst rolling green fields, lived a young woman named Hannah. She was known for her gentle spirit and devotion to the community's traditional ways. The Amish people valued their peaceful existence and held their code of silence sacred. One warm summer evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the fireflies danced in the twilight, Hannah took a leisurely stroll through the village. The air was filled with the soothing hum of cicadas and the distant clip-clop of horse-drawn carriages. As Hannah wandered near the edge of the village, she noticed something unusual in the tall, rustling cornfields. A strange flicker of light and a stifled cry caught her attention. With a sense of curiosity, she pushed aside the cornstalks and ventured deeper into the field. She stumbled upon a scene that would change her life forever. There, hidden among the swaying crops, a lifeless body lay on the ground, bathed in the eerie glow of the moon. Fear gripped Hannah's heart, and she recognized the lifeless figure as one of her own, a member of their peaceful community and a dear friend. At that moment, a chilling realization washed over her. A murder had occurred in their midst, threatening to shatter the peace they hold dear. But the code of silence was unyielding, binding the Amish together in secrecy. Hannah knew that she couldn't ignore this horrifying discovery. She felt a deep sense of responsibility to bring the killer to justice, but doing so would require her to navigate the treacherous waters of the community's code of silence. As the night grew darker, Hannah made a solemn promise to herself. She would find a way to unveil the truth, no matter how many barriers the code of silence placed in her path. Little did she know that her quest for justice would test the very foundations of their peaceful existence. The following morning, as the first rays of sunlight broke through the horizon, she watched as her fellow villagers gathered near the lifeless body she had found. The community had come together to retrieve the victim, but the code of silence hung heavy in the air. Whispers and hushed conversations rippled through the crowd as they looked upon the tragedy before them. Elders in traditional clothing offered solemn prayers, their voices blending with the gentle rustling of leaves in the morning breeze. It was a poignant reminder of the Amish way of life, rooted in faith and simplicity. The victim's family, with tear-stained faces, shared words of sorrow and forgiveness. As is the Amish custom, we must trust in God's plan, even in the face of such tragedy. One of them said, his voice filled with both grief and resolve. Hannah couldn't help but feel the weight of the code of silence pressing down on her, threatening to smother her determination to find the truth. But she couldn't turn back now. With a heavy heart, she continued her investigation in secret, carefully questioning those she trusted most. As the days passed, the tight-knit community closed ranks even tighter. Suspicion and unease hung in the air like a storm cloud, and Hannah realized that breaking through the code of silence would be a formidable challenge. Each step she took to uncover the truth was met with stern glances and cryptic responses. But Hannah was not easily discouraged. She knew that if she didn't find justice for her friend, the very foundation of their peaceful existence would remain tainted. As she delved deeper into her investigation, she discovered hidden secrets, rivalries, and buried resentments within the community. One evening, Hannah decided to speak with Eli, an elder known for his wisdom and quiet strength. Under the dim light of a kerosene lamp in his modest home, she carefully broached the subject of the murder. Eli's face revealed a mixture of emotions, sadness, fear, and a hint of anger. The code of silence protects us, he began, his voice barely louder than a whisper. But it can also be our greatest burden when faced with such darkness within our midst. We must find a way to reconcile our need for justice with our devotion to our way of life. Hannah's heart swelled with hope at Eli's words. She had found an ally who understood the dilemma they all faced. Together, they began to quietly gather information from those who were willing to break the silence. In this tight-knit community, whispers of betrayal began to circulate. As the code of silence slowly started to crack, Hannah learned of hidden animosities and resentments that had festered for years. Some pointed fingers at individuals who might have had motives for the murder, while others vehemently defended their innocence. But one name kept resurfacing in the hushed conversations: Ezekiel, a troubled soul with a troubled past. Hannah couldn't help but feel a chill down her spine as she delved deeper into his history. Ezekiel had always been somewhat of an enigma in the community. He had arrived in the village years ago, seeking refuge and a fresh start after a troubled youth in the outside world. Many had welcomed him with open arms, believing in the power of redemption and second chances that the Amish way of life offered. Yet, as Hannah uncovered more about Ezekiel's past, she realized that not all believed in his transformation. Whispers suggested that he still carried the darkness of his former life. Old wounds and grudges, long buried, were now resurfacing, and Ezekiel's name was entangled in a web of suspicion. With the code of silence slowly eroding, Hannah couldn't ignore the mounting evidence pointing towards Ezekiel's involvement in the murder. She knew that confronting him would be risky, and she needed concrete proof to bring him to justice without tearing their community apart. As suspicion continued to swirl around Ezekiel, he couldn't help but notice that Hannah had become increasingly wary of him. The code of silence may have shielded his past, but it couldn't hide his unease. In the shadows, he began to hatch a sinister plan, one that would silence Hannah forever. One moonless night, Ezekiel found his opportunity. He watched from the darkness as Hannah walked alone near the fields, her lantern casting eerie shadows. He knew it was now or never. With stealth, Ezekiel closed in on Hannah, his intentions darkening the night. But Hannah sensed his presence and turned, her eyes widening in fear as she saw the glint of a knife in his hand. In the struggle that followed, Hannah fought for her life, her voice rising in terror. "It's you, Ezekiel. You're the one." Ezekiel's grip tightened on the knife, and desperation flickered in his eyes. "Yes, it was me," he admitted, his voice trembling. "But if you're gone, they'll never question me. I'll be free." However, little did Ezekiel know that Eli, the wise elder of the community, had been quietly observing the events from a distance. He had grown suspicious of Ezekiel's actions and had enlisted the help of two trusted individuals to follow him that night. As Ezekiel prepared to deliver a fatal blow, Eli and his companions intervened, swiftly disarming him. The struggle came to a sudden halt, with Ezekiel now at a disadvantage. Eli stepped forward, his expression grave. "Ezekiel, your actions have brought great shame to our community. By the laws of our people, you must be held accountable for the murder." Ezekiel's shoulders slumped in defeat as he realized that his plan had failed. The weight of his confession hung in the air, and he knew there was no escape. Hannah and the others knew that they couldn't handle this matter on their own, and they also realized that the code of silence couldn't shield Ezekiel any longer. Some members of the community remained hesitant to involve external authorities, wanting to uphold the code of silence. However, Hannah, Eli, and the two individuals Eli had trusted decided that the time had come to break their silence for the sake of justice. Together, they made the decision to contact the police, providing them with a full account of what had transpired that night. While this decision caused tension within the community, it was clear that the evidence against Ezekiel was overwhelming. His confession and the eyewitness accounts of his actions left no room for doubt. He was arrested and faced criminal charges for both the murder and the attempted murder. If you enjoyed this story, then I know you will enjoy the story about a young woman named Cheryl receiving devastating news about her boyfriend being brain dead after a terrible accident. His wish was to donate his organs. Little did she know that the man who later rescued her from drowning was the man who received his heart. It's a beautiful, heartfelt story that you can sit back, relax, and enjoy. Until next time, bye for now.